Hello, welcome to Talk a Good Game. It's match preview of West Ham United against Wolves, and that's possibly the most positive I will be for the duration of this video. Anyway, Gonzo, can you kick us off with your thoughts on Wolves, please?
Oh, yeah, struggling team. I don't know exactly what's going on behind the scenes. I do wonder if George Mendes took that project on and he was very enthusiastic about it and put all his weight behind it. I wonder if that coincided with him being the agent of choice for the Saudi Pro League, which is what you hear, and just took his eye off the ball and he's gone where the big bucks are. And I don't know, maybe that's why they've not got that same conveyor belt of players coming through that they did have. They really were a team with structure and purpose, a club, should I say, not a team, with structure and purpose at one point, and it just seems to have sort of dissipated. I'm not going to for a moment tell all fans which manager they should want, whether they should want Gary O'Neil or not, because I've been sick of people hearing people say it about West Ham over the years, other fans of other clubs telling us what manager we should have and all the rest of it. So Wolves fans will know far better than me whether Gary O'Neil's the right man for the job. But you do get the impression that he is a make-do manager. And I think he was a make-do manager when he went in at Bournemouth, and he made do very well. And then obviously Lopetegui walked away and said that this bunch of players just can't cut it in the Premier League. And then Gary O'Neil came in and made do very well. And actually showed Lopetegui that actually there's not too much wrong with his squad. I am a little bit surprised to see him down where they are. I don't know. I would bow to the superior knowledge of Wolves fans as to whether he has lost the dressing room or not. From the outside looking in, I suspect he hasn't. The 4-2, maybe it was against Bournemouth, which was one of their more recent games, would suggest that perhaps he hasn't. That was a weird old game, by the way. But then again, you look at what happened against Everton, and then you suspect that maybe it has. I'll tell you something, though. It's one of those, they say, hold my beer. Hold my beer. It's a case of, like somebody might say, Wolverhampton Wanderers are now in such a state of disarray that they'll be dreading every single Premier League fixture that they've got coming up. And West Ham say, hold my beer.
Yeah,
I think it's a bit like that.
Yeah, I think there was once upon a time it looked like such a well-run club because of the success of the transfer window and played some decent football and got into European football and whatever. But in the last 12 months, they've really made a lot of own goals, ownership. They've really pissed off fans with decisions they've made off the pitch, and it's turned fans against the ownership. Just similar to West Ham with the concession prices. Wolves have been through the mill with that as well. And then there's the managerial situation. Obviously, Lopetegui walking out. Some would blame Lopetegui, some would blame the board. But regardless, the manager walked out few days before the start of Premier League season. It's not a good reflection on anybody involved. And then they had to get somebody in quick, and they got Gary O'Neil in, and it looked like the right choice. I think it was the right choice at the time because, well, they didn't get relegated. They stayed up comfortably in the end. And you come into this season, and at the start of the season, I felt that their performances were better than the results. There were some games I watched where Wolves were getting beaten. I thought, oh, they possibly deserve something from that one. But that feeling has declined with every extra game from Wolves I watch. And I watched most of the game against Bournemouth. I was watching that one and then the Leicester game as well. And then I watched the game against Everton because we were playing them next. And that's a team that's given up. That was a team that looked like they're just completely down tools. Half of them didn't know what they were meant to be doing. Half that did know what they were meant to be doing, didn't want to do it. There was just no fight whatsoever, and it was an easy game. If you concede 4 to Everton, plus there's a loud goal as well. So if you're conceding that much to Everton, something's going wrong. This Everton team hadn't scored a goal in like 4 games, rocked up at Wolves, at home, but they beat them, put 4 past them. They just had nothing about them whatsoever. I was watching them, and they were just lifeless. And I thought, right, surely that's him gone. There's no way O'Neill's going to be in the dugout on Monday night. But appears he will be. It appears he's got this game, and Gary O'Neil did his press conference yesterday and said, I've not spoken to them, the owners. They've not even spoke to me yet. So it's a bit like, bloody hell. Because obviously some people at the minute are subscribers saying we're the worst run club in the country. I tell you what, I think Wolves fans would more than have a case to say, actually, we are. If everyone thinks it's their club because you don't know enough about what's going on in other ones. But when you look at Wolves, it's just a terrible situation. And I know you said you weren't going to tell Wolves fans what they should think regarding managers, but what do you think about potentially sacking Gary O'Neil?
I think they've got some good players there.
They do.
So I don't know. He seemed resigned to it. I know that much. I watched his interview after the Everton game, and he was openly talking about the sack. I liked his honesty. I couldn't help but contrast him with Lopetegui. I know nobody would be able to do that better than Wolves fans because they have literally can put them side by side and compare them. I think he's not getting the best out of some really good players like Well, we'll segue into it now anyway because it's just a natural flow of the conversation. But you've got players like that, Nuri, Cunha. I think the guy's name is Lamina. I get confused, but I think he's maybe playing in defence a bit now. But before, when he came in, he was a bit. Is that right?
Yeah.
I think these are good players. And I would all of those ones I mentioned getting at West Ham for me. And there's more beside the fella Strand Larson maybe scored a couple against Bournemouth, looked to be an okay player as well. And there's others that I know there's others that are escaping my mind at the moment. I think there's some good players there. We're about to face a Wolves team. We're far better players than the Leicester team that we just lost to. So I think maybe another manager could probably get more out of them. But I don't know. I couldn't say if he's lost the dressing room. It's one of my least. I know it's the same for you, Gio. One of my least favourite sayings because it assumes that 25 people are all dislike one person. And it's like you made your point when you did your Tadibo video this morning. It's you put 100 people in a room together. Not everyone gets on with everyone. So it's not that. I'm sure there's some people in that Wolves squad have had enough of Gary O'Neil, and I'm sure there's still some players who are still fully behind him. But collectively, sometimes you just reach a point. I do think another manager coming in would probably do better with those players.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And the reason I would say that is because even a month ago, I mean, he's literally nominated for Premier League Manager of the Month for November, Gary O'Neil. He is. I'm not even taking the piss. There's 3 managers up for the award. I think it's Maresca. Arnslot's definitely one of them, and Gary O'Neill's the other one. So it just goes to show that from the people behind the stats are thinking he's had an all right month. We'll put him up for award, and Wolves fans are going, hang on a minute, what on earth's going on here? Like, what have you been watching us? But the reason I think they should get rid of him is because even a month ago I would have said, Wolves will get out of this relegation battle, not a problem. I'm not so sure anymore. I think. Would I be putting money on Wolves avoiding relegation? Not really. I think the longer he's at Wolves, the better for West Ham, if that makes sense, to sum it up. And I think that's why I think they need to possibly sack him. In regards to players I admire, since you've done your version, I think Cunha is an exceptional player. There's a lot of subscribers we've got on here that have liked him for quite some time, but I really do think he's stepped up. But he looks like another player that I just thought he'd given up against Everton on Wednesday night. I just thought he was one of the ones that just couldn't really be bothered. I think Larson's been a really good signing for them, actually. They had a bit of an issue with that striker role, and I think he's come in and he's really fitted the way they play. And I think him and Cunha link up really well. The problem is, I think it's sort of like the other number 10. There hasn't really been anyone that stood out or impressed me, but you go into midfield, I think Gomez is a great player in there. I quite liked Andre when he first rocked up, but jury's out on him now. His first few games, this guy looks quite bright and busy and technical, but not really. Doyle's a strange one. Had a fantastic season last season on loan from Man City. And I've barely seen him this season when I watched Wolves. He's on the bench more often than not, so I don't know what happened there. I don't think they've got a great defence. I think even Craig Dawson's trying to get him sat with 2 own goals on Wednesday, and then you've got Lumina's having to fill in there. I'm never really been convinced by Totti Gomez. I think Semedo's has good spells, but I think he's pretty stinky overall. Jose Sa, also just a crap goalkeeper, was really good when he rocked out. I think he's crap these days. I don't know what's going on with Sam Johnson, but he also looks crap as well. But I agree with you with Ait-Nouri. I think he's a tremendous player, and if any player on that pitch on Monday night is going to... Ait-Nouri could hate Gary O'Neil, I expect him to be the most motivated player on the pitch on Monday.
Right.
He'll be licking his lips at the prospect of getting Lopetegui sacked. I think he'll be thinking, "Oh, come on, then! Oh, this is personal between me and you. I'm going to have this one." Do you think they'll get relegated?
I think the players are too good. I do. I haven't looked around. I did watch a bit of Southampton the other day, and Russell Martin's still got his pecker up, to be fair to him, but he does have the look of a man who's wondering why this stuff isn't working sometimes, And I would agree. If funny enough, if he had the Wolves squad, he might be having a very, very different season. They're probably possibly more equipped to play the way that he's playing. I just think there's enough there, and I know Moyes has been spoken about. Moyes would never buy some of those players that are at Wolves. He would not buy them. But sometimes Moyes is great as long as he's not buying players, right? I think if you give him a limited squad and basically give him players who he has to manage, who he never would have bought, you may well find that he would do a very good job there, because he would have to shoehorn some creative and some athletic players into the team that he wouldn't ordinarily put in there, and you may well find that you got he would have enough to get them out of that. I think there's a lot of managers who would have enough to get them out of that. And it's just a shame for Gary O'Neil, because he seems like, I've never met the guy, but he seems like a nice guy, and he seems like a good guy, and he seems honest. And I certainly look at the way he's handling his situation compared to how Lopetegui's handling his situation. I just think they're chalk and cheese.
Yeah, I don't think they'll go down. I think they'll sack O'Neil, get someone in, and you don't even need to be a good manager, I think, to keep this squad up. You just got to be pretty decent, and they're not going to get top 10 or anything, but just keep them out of the bottom 3. I think they'll be okay. The last thing I want to say about Wolves before we move on and talk about our team is I want to give them their flowers, Gonzo. On Wednesday, they were singing against VAR in the Premier League. And do you know when they were singing it? When Everton scored and they were checking to rule Everton's goal out, Wolves fans were singing. I think they were singing "This Isn't Football Anymore." I think that's what they were singing, as well as FVAR or whatever. But they were singing anti-VAR songs whilst they were checking a goal against them, because even they were like, "This is just let it stand, right? This is just, you're ruining football here." And I think it's very easy to chirps away and shout negative things when it goes against your team, as in you lose out on a goal because of VAR. But they were literally slagging off VAR for a goal Everton had scored against them. And I think that went down well with me, actually. I thought, do you know what? That's integrity right there, because I'm not sure that flows through every fan base in the Premier League at all times. But Wolves can, fair play to them for that one. Yeah. Right then, we're going to discuss West Ham. Before we do, just one point in direction of this video sponsors, Match Bingo. If you're looking for a little bit of spice to this game, you shouldn't really need it, with both managers potentially getting sacked. Tuesday, it could both be sacked. One of them gets sacked. Neither of them gets sacked. Possibly a situation neither fan base wants to see. But if you're looking for a little bit more, a little bit of something, unfortunately, manager sacked will not be on the bingo cards for this one, so you can't get in. I've got O'Neil to get sacked. Happy days. But you'll get 15 events you do need to occur in the game. It pays out first line, second line, as well as full house. We've had well over 100 different people win from Hammers Chat. To download the app, please use a link in the description below, so you know you've come from Hammers Chat. Sign up, and if you deposit £10, they'll give you an extra £10 credit on top of that, so giving you 20 quid to play with. And also, this game has a promotion on. If you buy 4 cards, you will get your 5th one free, so it'll cost you £8 in total to give you 5 chances at scooping the £100 prize for the full house. There's 250 quid up for grabs, so if you're playing along, good luck, best of luck to you, and hope you join the list of winners we've got here on Hammers Chat. But it is a gambling app, so please do gamble responsibly, and you must be 18 years or over to play. Right, Gonzo, would you like some team news?
Not really, but go on.
Everybody's available.
Brilliant.
But
they're not.
Fulkrug made his return on Tuesday against Leicester and grabbed the goal whilst he was at it. Todibo missed out for reasons which you can make your own mind up as to why he was. Some would say it's because he had an argument with Lopetegui, and some would say it's because he was injured. However, Lopetegui was asked about it in his press conference earlier today, and he said there isn't a big issue in regards to Tadibo, and he tried to play it down. You said, but they're not. Was there anyone you were alluding to there?
Oh, Tadibo, really, yeah.
For the sake of the preview, Gonzo, you can include Tadibo, because if I take Tadibo away, I know what you're going to do. So I'm going to give you Tadibo to pick from. So just to know if you're going to pick Mavropanos, Tadibo, or perhaps both. So just to make it a little bit more interesting, you've got everyone to choose from.
Well, I'm going to pick my team. Yes, I won't pick his.
Even Ariola and Craswell, who have both been also missing in the last couple of games. Right, goalkeeper, defence, talk me through it. What does Gonzo want to see?
Ariola in goal, because I think it would annoy Lopetegui. I will play Aaron Wan-Bissaka in the rare position of right back. I will play Tadibo next to him because it would annoy Lopetegui. And I will play Max Kilman in there as well.
Because it annoy Wolves fans.
I don't know who Emerson could annoy, but whatever. We'll shove him in there. Shove him in there anyway. Yeah, that would be my back line.
And what about Emerson?
I just said Emerson.
Did you? Sorry, I was busy.
Didn't I? You have to run that back.
It's probably
right. I don't know.
It's probably because you give him like 8 names these days.
Maybe I thought Emerson, but didn't say it.
I don't know. Perhaps.
Yeah, we might be right on that one. You'll have to let us know in the chat.
Same defence for me, but different goalkeeper. I'm sticking with Fabianski. Don't think he did anything wrong against Leicester City. A couple of top saves in there as well, so I'm keeping him in there. And then the back four, it picks itself, really. I don't think Mavropanos was that bad against Leicester, but he wasn't great either. So I'm going to go Wan-Bissaka, Tadibo, Kilman, and Emerson. Now, moving into midfield, and this is where it gets a little bit tasty, because there's a lot of options, but it feels like none of them are in great form, and the ones that are in a little bit of form, it's just that little bit of form.
Yeah,
we had a good performance against Newcastle with a trio of Souček, Soler, and Paqueta. Didn't work against Arsenal. Didn't see it against Leicester. So, what would you like to happen in the middle of the park?
I'd play Alvarez, Soler, and Lewis Orford for this one. That's what I do. I think
you're a man that's had enough.
I not only have I had enough, I can't think of a game in recent memory that I've cared less about. I really can't. There was, I mean, I said what I can't even remember what game it was. Whenever, I think it was before the Newcastle game. I do remember. I don't think I'd ever approached a game in recent years with more trepidation and more concern and been more downbeat. It's not even that. That downbeat, being depressed is an extreme reaction. To say I don't care, I've just been worn down. I've been worn down by the events of the last 24, 48 hours. I've just lost all faith in the football club and in the running of this football club. Every eventuality is a nightmare, quite frankly. A draw, a loss, and a win. They all almost mean something bad at the end of it. So it's. But if I was putting a team together and if I was starting from fresh, that's all I can do. I've got to forget the Lopetegui stuff. If I was to make a team from this game, and if it was, if I had been the man that had accepted the 6-month contract at West Ham, and I was getting prepared for the next 6 months of keeping West Ham in the league, and I would probably try and pick a team to win this game. I just don't think I could pick Paqueta. I probably wouldn't pick Souček as well. I'd try and make the midfield as technical and as athletic as I could, and that's about the best I could do at the moment.
I'm actually the opposite in terms of my feeling. This last few days has really lit my fire, if you like. I think I had what you're feeling. I think I had that a couple of weeks ago, where I just felt a little bit down and detached from it all, and I felt like I didn't care. But actually, the last couple of days, I really care. I've turned angry, and you don't turn angry if you don't care.
Yeah.
So because I'm feeling quite frustrated and pissed off with decisions and the way they've handled things, I can't then claim I'm not that bothered. I am bothered, and I'm actually, I don't know why, I'm almost fired up for Monday night, but don't know what for.
You don't know what you want as a result of it?
Well, it's not that. I want to win. I know I want to win. I've never wanted us to lose. But if people say, yeah, but if we lose, I get it. Right? I get it. I get why. I understand. but it's not. I don't think it's the outcome of the game I'm fired up for. I'm not sure what it is. I think it's like. I think I'm just angry at the situation. I want to see a reaction from everybody involved, including the players. I'm looking at the players saying, like, come on then, you lot, get out there and roll your sleeves up and get stuck in then. I don't want you giving up. I don't want us to do what Wolves did against Everton. We've not done that yet, which is to stand around like mannequins, like, whatever. I don't think we've done that. And we played all right against Leicester at times. I think it wasn't the worst performance I've ever seen. But I just want to see a reaction. I think Lopetegui's copping a lot of flack from ourselves included, and deservedly so.
Yeah.
But I think there's more culpable here. I think there's a lot of the players as well where I think, you know what? You can't all look in the mirror and say, I've given this club 100% since the start of the season. I think a handful of them can, and that's not enough. So I want to see something on Monday night. Even if you want the manager gone, you've still got to turn up and play for yourselves, the club, the fans, and that's what I think. That's why I'm worked up for this one. In midfield, I'd go with Solar and Souček. I think that's what Wolves didn't like the aggressiveness of Everton. Everton got stuck in, rolled their sleeves up, and Wolves didn't really like it. And I want to see that. So I'm putting Souček in there, and Solar's sort of somehow in the last 2 weeks made himself the first midfielder name on the team sheet, and the one player that looks like he's got a little bit of creativity about him. So I'd have him in there.
4-4-2?
No, 4-2-3-1.
Okay.
Talk me through your attacking trio then. I assume you got Bowen on the right and Caduceus somewhere, but I don't know where. So what you got?
Yeah, that's all I can do. Caduceus on the left, Bowen on the right. I considered going 4-4-2, but I think you need an athlete in there, and we don't have one. We just don't have one. There's not one. As I say, I looking at these. Wolves have got some fast, powerful players, and yeah, we could do with a bit of that at West Ham, but anyway, we don't have it. So that's for that reason I can't just play a 2 in the middle.
I can. I'll tell you why. I agree they've got fast, powerful players, but it's a bit like having a Ferrari with no petrol. What's the point? It ain't moving.
Yeah, but we don't have. I just think with 2 in midfield, you do need to have an athlete.
Only if the opposition's moving.
Well, I think they might be moving for this one. So, but we'll get to that in a bit. Yeah, look, I guess I'll play up Tony up front. I think it'd be a little bit much to expect Füllkrug to have 3 months off and start a game, but obviously, maybe look to bring him on in the second half or something like that. I think Danny Ings possibly is. Might not have despite suggestions, he might not be fully fit for this one. So, but I wouldn't have started Ings anyway. I think enough for so many of them. Enough is enough. I'm happy enough not to see Danny Ings. We need to move in a different direction with so many of these players now. And yes, I am not. I do agree that Lopetegui is culpable for so much of this, but I do also agree that the players are. I think the board. Nobody gets off scot-free with me. I think everyone's always looking for one point pantomime villain a lot of the time, and it is infinitely possible that but a vast majority of people are bloody useless at West Ham.
Yeah, it's not quite sniper, is it? You got one guy in your crosshair. It's machine gun stuff, which is you're just pinging bullets. So you're all getting it, Duke Nukem style.
It's true.
Have a bit of this. Yeah. The problem is you've got the chairman of the club lobbing grenades. That's the problem. I would go with Jarbone on the right, Somerville on the left, Caduceus number 10, and Füllkrug up front. This is red button stuff, which is, the club have labelled this as a cup final. Not me, the club have, it's Lopetegui's cup final on Monday, which is pathetic, really. But this is what I want to see. I want to see Bowen in his best position, Somerville in his best position. Caduceus has been here 18 months, so we don't know his best position yet, but I want to see him played here. And I agree, Füllkrug won't last 90 minutes, but you can get him till half time and then bring Antonio on. He did what we couldn't do against Leicester, which was just score a striker's goal. Just do what a striker should do. We were having loads of shots and loads of the ball, but we were just missing somebody putting it in the back of the bloody net. And he comes on and goes, there you go. That's how you do it. Like, get the ball, let's go back halfway lines. Try to start full crook for this one. Anyway, before we discuss El Sackio, and if we are confident, we just want to point in direction of our Patreon, where you can help support Hamish Chat continue making videos. As simple as that, really. It's less than 9p per week. Loads of content over there, but also we have our prediction competition where you can guess the score and the first scorer of this match, and if you win, you're with a chance of winning the big prize, and it's always signed goodies that's up for grab. Obviously, depending on which tier you're subscribed to, the greater the tier, the greater your prize. So, for example, for the Leicester game, up for grabs for an addict was a signed Julian Dix shirt, plus a signed Julian Dix captain's armband, and one of his signed autobiography or a signed print. So 3 signed prizes just for one person if they got the prediction competition correct. To support us, you can go to patreon.com/Hamish Chat. Links in the description below. If you're unsure, great, go sign up, because you can have a trial for 7 days between now and the next week. You can take all our content in as a mild addict or addict and see what you think. And at the end of it, you can either pay to stick around or you can cancel your membership and you won't have paid a penny. Try before you buy. Links in description below. A massive thank you to everybody that signs up. It helps us out considerably. Gonzo, El Sackio, how are you feeling?
Fed up, completely and utterly fed up. I don't know how the board thought they would get away with this decision and expect anyone to be enthusiastic. They don't believe that Lopetegui is the best man for the job. They don't. So how they can expect us to? I really don't know. It's been laid bare. I've got to say a couple of things. I know I mentioned it already in a couple of videos, but what has been laid absolutely bare. Anybody that thought there was any joined up thinking with West Ham and all this stuff that over the last few months we've been speaking and approaching to managers, nonsense. None of it's happened. It is. I won't mention who it is. Right? I know someone, and when they drive a car, all they do is they're looking just above the steering wheel, so everything's a surprise. So that red light that you can see 100 yards up there, oh, okay, whoa, everything's like that. Whoa, blimey, oh, there's a car in front, and it's like that. And West Ham are like this unnamed person that drives, who I will not sit in the car with anymore. Whoa, look, Lopetegui. Lopetegui might not be brilliant, and I think that's where we are. Oh, we better appoint somebody. Is anyone any good? Anyone? You know anyone? That's what it's been like. West Ham are an absolute mess. They wanted to sack him yesterday. They didn't sack him, and it just doesn't matter why it didn't happen. The fact that it didn't happen is all you need to know. The other thing that I've just completely lost any faith in the people running the club at all was what Lopetegui said, which was. He was mandated to do 3 things. One of the 3 things was to create more chances and improve the style of football. They got a dessert chef and asked him to start cooking starters. It's awful. It's awful. There was knowledge enough in the club that the style needed to change, yet they hired a defensive coach to do it. No wonder he can't do it. No wonder everyone's leaking goals at the back. It's a complete and utter mess. I don't know. I'm not here to play my dad's bigger than your dad with Wolves fans, but I suspect our club is worse than yours, right? But I don't know, and I don't mean to. Fair play to them. Good luck. I wish them all the luck in the world, Wolves fans. I wish them all the luck in the world. They sound like, really, really good. I was there a couple of seasons ago. Went to the away game up at Wolves. It was freezing, but I got these flames. But the flame came on at the start of the game and at half time. Thinking, oh, lovely, yeah, I'll have some of that. It's horrendous. It's horrendous. El Sackio. This is never mind El Sackio. This is going to be the we might not see you next Tuesday derby. That's what it's going to be on Monday night. I tell you, and I care about everything that's happened at West Ham. What I meant is I almost don't care about this game, because whatever we're going to see is a farce. It's a one-off. It's not a box set. It's a singular episode of something we're going to watch on the TV with no prequel and no sequel. It's a standalone game which has its own solitary importance. Just for this game, it's been made important for that reason. Whoever's got it on TV, I'm assuming it's Sky with the Monday Night Football. Well, they've really lucked in. They couldn't have had the foresight to know that this was going to happen. They've really, really lucked in. And you've got this extra this extra theme, and you mentioned it with Ait Nouri earlier. There's going to be a whole load of those players who maybe, just maybe, they've down tools for Wolves, as you alluded to earlier. But it might be enough for them to get them up and interested again, that they might think, you know what, let's go and show him something. Wolves as a club are going to want to show him something. I don't believe there's one pantomime villain. I don't believe it's all Lopetegui, but I think his behaviour at both clubs has probably been pretty poor over times. And I don't think he's behaved well, and they're going to want to show him. They're going to want to stick one up him. Stick one on him. Throw him to the Wolves.
Are you confident?
No. No way. No way. If all I've got to do is take confidence, the only confidence I can take from this is Wolves against Everton. That's not confidence. That's just thinking that someone else is more shit than you are, and that's not confidence. That's incompetence. That is a competition of incompetence. That's not competency. That is they might be useless, slightly more useless than me. I think that's all that's going on there. No, I think this is going to be an absolute horror show.
Yeah, this match reminds me of one of the first times I moved here. I went up to the town centre on a Tuesday, 10 a.m. And Gonzo might remember what I witnessed. Two junkies trying to scrap each other outside Wetherspoons. And I think this match is the equivalent of it. It's just a complete waste of time. And just shouldn't want to watch it, but I will because it's there in front of me. And I can't believe we're in this situation, really. I don't think either fan bases understand how you quite got there. We do, but you at the same time, you don't. And what a horrible situation we're in as well, because nothing gets solved with this game. Nothing at all. Because even if we won, you're not going to wake up Tuesday going, he's cracked it. Bring on board. You're going to think, bloody hell, he's delayed the inevitable by another week. That's simply all he's doing if he gets the win on Monday night. Because of what we know about this board, I would not be surprised they've got Graham Potter perched in that crowd on Monday night. It would not surprise me. The camera pans round, and he's sat there with his long coat on, looking very elegant and dapper. And it's like, oh, there he is. And like, Jesus, that's the lack of class this club have at times. It would not surprise me if Graham Potter's a guest of the director's box. And say, hey, come to the London Stadium, have a little look at what you could be in charge of. The guy down there doesn't do well enough tonight. You can have his job if you want. We're now into schmooze factor with Graham Potter. I think what their club are trying to do in the next few days are trying to smooze him so that we've got him lined up. But we're not the only club. Wolves are apparently really interested in Graham Potter too. So I think he'll be there on Monday. It's just a case of which job is he wanting. We don't know. But this is the Graham Potter derby, I've decided. There's El Sackio, but it's a Graham Potter derby. I'm not confident. I'm not confident we're going to get beat, though, but that's because Wolves are pretty crap. And we looked okay against Leicester at times. But the problem was, we also looked crap defensively against Leicester throughout the entire 90 minutes. 90 seconds from the start and 90 seconds till the end. Leicester carved us open and put the ball in the back of the net both occasions. They've got good players, and I think we're right about the Lopetegui thing. I think if Wolves players are needing any sort of motivation, all they have to do is look at him in the dugout and think, if we do well tonight, you're getting sacked, and that might be enough for some of them. I'm not looking forward to this. I'm fired up for it, but I'm a little bit... Yeah. There's 3 outcomes for West Ham. We win, he doesn't get sacked, but does anyone have confidence we turn the corner? Probably not. We draw, we don't know what's going to happen. We lose, we might sack him, but we're going to make a mess of it as well, because we've already shown that in the last couple of days that we're not going to be able to do it. We probably wouldn't sack him on the Tuesday. It would be the Wednesday or the Thursday they decide to sack him, and then the new manager, whoever it might be, he's only got a handful of days before the next game. It's a bad situation, and there's not really a good outcome for us on Tuesday. I hope we win. Just not sure we will. Gonzo, final words in your score prediction.
West Ham are riddled with indecision, a lack of a cohesive strategy and any form of single-mindedness. Got a lame duck manager in place, which neither the fans nor the ownership want. And he was previously the manager of the team that we're about to face up against, who we let down badly. And they may well be very motivated for him because he's displayed some pretty undistinguished character traits. It has to be said. He's had mass fallouts at his previous club. He's had mass fallouts at West Ham. He's never going to be able to galvanise all of those players behind him because he's humiliated a number of them. And I think you can't repair that sort of damage. I think that's very, very hard to do. If you humiliate someone, if you rail with someone and you ask them to go into the trenches for you, they're not going to do it. They'd rather find a sick note than do that. All that remains is how much is left of the players who probably side with him out of common decency more than anything else. But that's all it will be. They will side with him for the club and they will side with him because he is the current head coach of West Ham United. In terms of a belief of his system, that's gone. I doubt there's anything he can say with his tactics board in the dressing room before the start of that game that will convince them that whatever pearls of wisdom he has to impart about the shape of the team, that they will not be able to believe a word he's saying. They will listen to it and they will look at it and they'll look at the tactics board and they'll say, well, yeah, that's all well and good, but they're basically going to run in behind us. I do understand that, and I don't blame him for that. He's been asked to sacrifice his principles, which is basically to defend. He's been asked to attack. He doesn't know how to do it, and now he's caught in a halfway house, and they're exposing us. And as a result of that, our defence is an absolute shambles. We spent £75 million on 2 central defenders. We could have spent £275 million on the whole defence, and that defence would still look exactly the same as it looks now because people are being told to stand in the wrong places. That's how bad it is. Do that against this quick team, they're going to tear us apart. I think as long as they're they just need to be half motivated and they beat us. I think they will be half motivated, and I think they might even match the scoreline of Leicester. 3-1 Wolverhampton Wanderers.
I think situations like this, often you find that there's no favourable outcome for either team. There's no winner, and I'm going to say 1-1. I think the feeling that Wolves fans and West Ham fans have today, we're going to have on Tuesday morning, and we're not going to be any further on. Both clubs will just kick the can down the road, delay the inevitable. I'm going to say 1-1 on Monday night. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us. If you've somehow enjoyed this preview, please be kind and drop a like on the video by clicking thumbs up, subscribing to Hammers Chat. And if you fancy supporting us at Hammers Chat, treating yourself for a Christmas present, treating someone else, I'll tell you how you can do that later on in a different video. Go to patreon.com/Hammers Chat. And we look forward to catching up with you over there. Thank you for your support. Catch you in a bit.